Another try. Okay. Okay, there we go.
So what am I supposed to do?
You have to exit out of this then. There we go. I think that's it. Hit play.
It's not working.
There you go. All right, there we go. Okay, and we're back. So I don't have my the
Sorry
LRT
guys
combined.
for this. I don't really know what exactly happened. We lost the internet.
We lost the internet at the house, and then right now I'm not streaming off of using my LiveView because since I was traveling, I disconnected that service because it's that $450 a month one. But we never lose internet whenever I have it on, so I'll reactivate it later. You guys, I'm going to be streaming a event over in DC for a J6 rally. Dinesh D'Souza is one of the main speakers, Kara Casanova from New York, and so that's going to be actually on September 24th, so I will be live there and definitely have my LRT for the live view turned on at that point. For those of you just tuning in, we are not live from Leipzig. We are live from our in-home studio from Orlando, Florida, bringing you PoAm World News Part 2. Since our first one got cut off, we'll just call this Part 2 instead. So before we cut off, my dad was talking about the project for the mega farm for the homeless. So I'll kick it back to Dad to continue what you were saying. I'm sorry your train of thought was harshly interrupted by, internet. But it is what it is, right, guys? And thanks for joining us back. And I guess before I kick it off to you, I want to also give a great thank you and a shout out to all the wrenches that are in the chat. You guys are old faithful, and I always appreciate your time for serving as moderators to our channel. So Devon, thank you very much. Snooks, you're always there. And also I saw Nicole on earlier, so a great thank you and shout out to the moderators for always supporting our channel.
Okay, like Tara mentioned already, I want to keep talking about my projects, and if you guys can help me to support this project, either by information or if you send some money for the non-profit, I will be very grateful to you. And right now I try to raise about $800 to pay for the application for the 501c non-profit. So
that is the goal amount to be raising for filing the paperwork for it as we go navigate through the process. And those who have already gone through the process of filing for nonprofit status, if you guys can reach out to us and provide guidance, we are always grateful for any counseling that we can receive. My dad was mentioning earlier during part one of this segment that he has put in $300 of his own money into the goal of $800 to this. That's not going to be reflected in this link for GoFundMe. Of course, if he puts the $300 there, they're going to just take fees out. You'll see $10 raised so far, which is $5 from me and $5 from my brother. So that is the start of our GoFundMe campaign with the goal of $800. My dad has put in $300 thus far, and this is for the filing paperwork for the status. And from there, our next steps are also going to be engaging other donors to see if we can raise the funds necessary to have a pilot run to be purchasing a small plot of land and building a a small like housing unit on that farmland, and it's going to be privately crowdsourced for the start of it. With that, we're hoping to demonstrate some results and use that as a sample, a pilot run, to be encouraging maybe government support and doing things on a larger scale. There has been successful runs, I believe it was in the UK, and then those you can kind of mirror a little bit to like kibbutz in Israel for the type of project for building homeless housing that we're trying to model this after.
Yeah. Somebody may be wondering what the project will look like. Well, I would like to acquire about 50 acres and maybe like 150 people live on it, okay? So that would be the start, and if that project will already be set up, then I can show you how it works and if really gonna works, okay? And then from that we can continue make those projects all over the United States.
LAF is asking if a certain number of participants are required for filing purposes. I do believe we have to establish a type of board, correct? Like in terms of organization of it. So our family members will be participating as members of the board, and if anybody here in the chat would like to also become part of that and involved with helping the homeless, please do reach out to us via email or through Instagram to connect, Instagram or Twitter, ways to directly connect with us. Again, just email also if you don't use other social medias, but we are going to be having to establish a form of like a board. So we're going to have to also start recruiting volunteers and becoming organized, guys.
Yeah, anybody can get involved, but also I want to say that I have a friend which runs the non-profit organization, and he can give me all the time advice, you know, so everything gonna be legal, and we're gonna not get in problem. And as I tell you, I volunteer my little money, but also my time, because I retire already, so all my time I will dedicate to those two projects, and I don't want to myself even one penny from it. If I can afford, I'm gonna put my own money too. So.
Ultimate Podcast Report is saying that they have experience with also nonprofits, and they'll be reaching out because they had set it up before. Ultimate Podcast, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you directly. And again, guys, we need counsel and guidance. I've never gone through the process of forming a nonprofit, and right now these are our ideas. So we're going to need volunteers and people on board to be provided who have experience navigating this route, to volunteer their time to counsel us or to become involved in it. In the future, I can see my role is going to be largely like courting people to get them interested in. A lot of it is fundraising. What it boils down to is raising the money at the start of it, and then the next piece is going to be acquiring land. LAF, I believe, was asking where we were interested to build.
Yeah, that's the question of LAF. Where do you plan to build? Okay, I live in Orlando, Florida, and I would like to find some land with the radius of 50 miles from me, so I don't have to drive too far to keep an eye on the development of the project. But I have to tell you that I also investigate that Bill Gates just owned 4,500 acres not too far from Orlando, and he's on my list to be first contact, you know, if he can donate it. I'm sure he's old man like me, you know, and he wouldn't mind probably to be part of that solving the problems. Of course, everybody have a different opinion about Bill Gates, but I think he's a good man, and, you know, he can chip out some money.
LAF is also suggesting for us to look into the model for Habitat for Humanities. So I am familiar a little bit with Habitat for Humanities. They mainly build housing units for people. So what we're looking to do is more like a dormitory style as opposed to like a whole house. So it's not going to be like a an actual house that you put people into. It's going to be more of like a shelter type of dormitory style. Those are types of logistics we have to look into, is in terms of like length of stay, and then also the process of how to qualify who gets to go in or not. Of course, there's a lot of underlying issues that is a cause for homelessness, and those are going to be also social services that are going to need to come on board to be helping people to not remain in a cycle of poverty. Interesting enough, when I actually talked to some of the homeless in Orlando, at least in downtown Orlando, some tell me that they're choosing to be homeless, which is another like interesting thing to delve into. But what we're looking to do is provide a solution for where people also can go that's an alternative to housing that's within cities. So, because some people are happier when they're by a beach, for instance. Of course, like we're not saying to go buy beachfront property. That's more of a private thing. We're trying to look at cheap land that's available, that can be more agricultural type of land. But I do believe that given people a purpose of farming their own land and being able to provide for food for themselves, and this is not saying for them to own the land, so we're not looking to be giving handouts to people, but I think it's going to create a win-win situation by getting people outside of the cities, so that way also the crime rate and the safety of people who are within the cities and business owners like that is impacted by the amount of homeless that are present within our cities. And so it's almost like a means of spreading people out, but getting people outside of cities. And because evidently the Democrats who are running our cities are not doing it. So we need to become more involved in community and take the power away from these like city governments, even though we want them to also support funding wise. We're just trying to look to propose alternative solutions, because evidently what's going on right now is not working. So I think private citizens do need to become involved, because government's not really doing its job.
Yeah. Well, one thing, if you ask me what the project looks like, well, it's hard to right now, because everything has to be to the code, build up, and with the architect, and the area, county, or whatever going to be built, you have to approve that. Okay, so I cannot tell you exactly what the codes right now for that project and how much we are allowed to do, but what in my mind, it is, I have a vision of that project, and once we can build it, then you can see first model, because we want to spread those projects all over the United States and make the people also be, homeless people be useful, and they can benefit themselves, but also be benefit for America, by planting the trees and if you're gonna look at China, how they improve their land over there, they're turning deserts to nice, beautiful forests, and we can do the same thing in America using the homeless people. We need more trees, because otherwise I don't know, but I heard always crying that there is too much CO2 in the air and stuff like that. Any trees is very valuable to save the earth, okay? And by this project, we can save America also, So that's my idea for my, which I try to fill up my time when I retire, and I'm looking forward to do that. And anybody who wanna, about thinking about good for America, that's the plan to do it. Take care of America, take care of the homeless people. So once we build the first project, then I can prove it to you. Yeah, I had the right idea. Don't forget, my hero is Elon Musk, and when he started building the rockets or the cars, Tesla, he didn't have any idea. I don't know if anybody knows his story, but when he tried to go to the space and start doing the business with the rockets, he went to Russia first, okay? And he tried to buy the rockets, but the Russian tried to trick him because first they told him they're gonna sell him 3 rockets for 20 million, and then when he came back, they told him, no, we're gonna only give you 1 for the 20 million. So he got pissed off and he started building his own rockets, and look at what happened now. SpaceX, he wants to go to moon, to Mars, okay? And with the Tesla was the same thing. He didn't have any idea how he can make the electrical cars. He went to Germany to get the permission if he can put the electrical engine in a smart cars. And the German tells him, yeah, go ahead. But then he find out, yeah, I can build my own. You know. And
well, there's a way.
Look at now, Tesla is all over. In my neighborhood, there is so many Teslas here, you know. So, you know, with that in his mind, the idea what pushed him forward. And I have to tell you, he's my ideal hero, you know. So he's gonna do good, a lot of good for America, you know. And I hope, you know, he will continue what he's doing. Now Tesla is in China, he built just in Berlin, in Texas, California. So he's doing good, you know, and he would be part of my, you know, that I can visit him too.
I'll go to space.
I told him, you know, you have such a good brain, you can help me too, you know. And so I'm just laughing, but you know, guys, we have to do something with the problems in America, okay? So just join me and give me some more information. If you can afford, you can start chip up some money and go fund me, you know. So I can go forward with my projects.
And this is actually one of my dad's ideas. He's got several projects and ideas in mind, but this is the one that we want to start off with as the priority, because each one of us should be looking within ourselves to find ways we can make America great again, as opposed to just following the politicians. We don't need people to be directing us how to make America great again, because it's really going to be an individual action and stepping up with our own ideas. And so this is my father's vision of how we can make America great again. And I encourage everybody to look within themselves and what kind of projects they want to become involved in. If you care about the homeless and about the Americans that are, you know, here in our country who are being cast aside and not helped by our own government, even though it should be a role of the government, I don't know what they're doing with tax dollars, but it's certainly not helping these people. And we each need to come up with our own projects of how to make America great again, because we have our current politicians like this president and administration who are trying to demonize the people who say make America great again. The true emphasis, the true center of what America is and how to make America great again resides in the hearts of the people, like my father, like myself, like everybody who's listening to us here in the chats. So whether it's helping the homeless, or if it is helping veterans or people who are retiring, even if it's a platform that's based on, you know, freedom of speech, which is another thing that, you know, we need to continuously fight for. But these are the true essence of what make America great again actually means. And so when we put ourselves out there to demonstrate that, we can start fighting the narrative that Biden is trying to put out there, that we're these terrorists and these extremists, because we all know it's not true. And what he's trying to do is villainize people who have good hearts, like my father, like myself, who are actually trying to help Americans. So look within yourself to come up with projects and ideas of how to make America great again, and let's show them what we're really made of.
And one thing I want to tell you about the politicians, okay, we have the Republicans in the government, we have Democrats, and as long America exists, okay, we're getting more and more homeless people, okay? And one thing, you know, the companies now going with the robots, more and more people going to be on the street, and more homeless going to be, and could be, you know, I'm already retired, but I don't have to worry about myself. But anybody who is younger, if you end up on the street, you can always go to the homeless facility and they have to help you. You know, so, but we need a lot of those, and like LAF asking me if, I don't know what you mean LAF, but finding the land, okay, of course, if, first thing we have to get the money, then once we get the money, we're gonna look for the land, and of course, first we have to investigate if we can locate the homeless facility on that land, because you know not always the county will allow to do that. Okay, so we're gonna have to look for the.
I'm sure there's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be challenges when it comes to that red tape,
Yeah.
because they're going to want to. I got a feeling some of the challenges we're going to be facing is that they're not going to want projects like this to succeed, because they want the dependency to rely on the present institution. And so that's probably going to be part of the challenge, because often they want to keep problems ongoing. These people are profiting off of the problems and not off of the solutions. Why can't we solve something like homelessness in America? Like, we should be able to. And so, but really it's because people want to keep problems in place, because people are making money out of it. It's the same thing as like if there was truly a cure to cancer, all the pharmaceuticals would go out. So like with everything that happened with COVID, who benefited from having all these vaccines and pushing it down to even babies now having it. So that's part of the thing of what we're going to be fighting up against, is people are not going to want to see a solution to the problems, because they know that by keeping the problems out there, they're having people become more and more dependent on the government. When you have even something like like our present welfare system should be a safety net for people to go onto and be able to spring back on, almost like a trampoline. You're supposed to bounce back up. However, it turns into this dark abyss of a black hole that once you get in there, you can't climb up out of it. And the system is set up like that in order to keep us dependent upon the government. And that's why I'm calling upon regular citizens to become more active within community and take the power away from the government. The only thing I want to see from the government is financial support to these projects, and to not put so much bullshit and red tape in front of us from coming up with the actual solutions.
Yeah, one thing when you look at the politicians, okay, when they're running for the office, they promise everything. I just vote for me, I'm going to Washington to change the Washington, and once they get to Washington, the Washington change them, you know, all what they're looking for their own profit, and they buy them off or something like that. Even the Republicans or Democrats, you cannot trust the politicians. You know, we have to take the ideas in our own hands, and you know, there have to be people who will take care of that weight of the problems in America. Okay, and we can do wonderful things, because America is a very rich country. All what we need, people with the ideas who go forward with those ideas, like Elon Musk. Okay, he had the idea and he going forward. He not give up, you know. And one thing I have to tell you, he's not a good outspoken, just like me. I'm not a good outspoken person, but I have the idea and I want to go forward, and I do everything to solve that problem in America with the homelessness and with the retirees. One thing I have to tell you, we have right now 60 million of retirees people, and 90% retirees, they don't have a happy life. And you know, harder you work through your life, basically you work hard for the minimum wage, okay? And harder you're working, when you retire, you have a problem to even sustain yourself, okay? And that's what we try to avoid, you know, that once you retire, you should have a happy life. And that's what is my project for it. But to prove it to you, I have to build one, you know. And, you know, like I says, anybody can come with the information, with the idea. I will listen to everybody. If you have better idea than I do, I will go for it, you know, so.
All right. All right, I think that's a good wrap for this evening. Guys, thanks for joining us in the chat. I know we've been quite silent here on the ground, renamed from the Polish American Brotherhood. I have a lot of footage that I need to edit and put out there for the docu-series type of work that I want to be focusing and doing now. I will still definitely be doing the live streams and also, you know, podcasting in studio with my dad. And yeah, well, let's keep this going. So in conclusion for this evening, thanks for joining us, and we'll see where the next steps are going to be. So hopefully this week, even though I just got back from Europe, you know, that flight looks quite available tomorrow, Dad. Just for 1 week, just to cover this royal funeral. Yeah. All right, guys, I guess I'm going to England tomorrow, and from there I'll be providing live coverage of the events and ceremonies that are going on, where the whole world will be watching with its eyes on the UK for the royal funeral of the passing now of Queen Elizabeth II, and long live the King, I guess now, right, Charles?
Yeah, he.
And begrudgingly,
I'm sure Charles is going to represent the England very good. You know, he's still a strong man and.
Wales and I was just in Ireland last week, so we have Northern Ireland that is also part of the UK, but yeah, so I'll go live from England to bring you guys what's going on from there. Thank you, Dad, the most wonderful father in the world, for giving me another week of having a break. I know for those who have been following me on my Instagram, and not really Twitter, but really on Instagram for my travel stories, I'm posting more of my travel videos, which are non-political. For those who want to just escape with me, Take Off with Tara is where I'm going to be posting my travel videos. I put together a nice montage of exploring the Paris Opera House, for instance, and there's going to be more of those type of videos of taking off with me and enjoying the world begrudgingly, even though we're seeing a lot of bad things go on. And it's important to take a break from politics as well, because it's poisonous, it's toxic, and we have to realize there's still a lot of beautiful things in this world. And so that's why I am a strong advocate of traveling, and really, when you go outside of America, you will realize how amazing America is also. And that's why I have such a love for America, because I step outside of it very often to see the other problems that are going on in the rest of the world. It was quite eye-opening for me to have even gone to Dresden and to Leipzig, which is really like a core heart of a lot of the Antifa action. Some people were saying how it was America, Antifa, that then spread to Europe. That's not true. It started there and then came over here, and the ones here kind of just went a little bit psycho. But it was very eye-opening to see what activities are going on also in Germany from the Antifa standpoint, which is of course one of the topics that we do follow on this channel. So we will be covering a very historical moment that's going on in England right now with the passing of the Queen. And with that, I'll pass it over to Dad to do final remarks for this evening.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for, if you're going to support my projects, and like I said, I'm going to get anything you can donate to GoFundMe for this project. I will be very grateful to you, okay? And each video we're gonna make, I will be mentioning about and see what kind of progress we're making, okay? And I'm gonna show you whatever you donated and where the money goes, so nothing gonna be,
we'll be very
wasted or anything like that, okay? And we have to, like I said, we have to solve the problem of the homelessness in America.
Yeah. And it feels like this is something that should have been solved, and I don't trust the government. So again, let's take the power back to the people and take care of our community.
And more we're gonna talk, spread to your friends about it, okay? Because I'm sure, I would say even 90% they taking care of how the America present themselves in the world, okay? And right now they show a lot of pictures about the homeless people in America. And like I mentioned before, Poland just brought more than 3 million people and nobody homeless over there, and it's not that.
That's true.
country,
Actually,
yeah.
Poland doesn't have homeless. When the amount of times I've gone, I haven't seen any homeless in Poland, and honestly, they can't be homeless over there because they will freeze to death. So, there is a solution, guys. There is a solution that's out there. So let's just find that here in America, and that's going to be our way of making America great again. And again, you guys find your own path to making America great again, so we can fight against the villainization by these leftist extremists who are then trying to make everyday Americans who love America to be out to be terrorists, which I come back to hearing and looking at that speech, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I digress. Again, thanks so much to our moderators for always being supportive of the channel. Snooks, I think I see you every single time. Nicole, I see you all the time. And Devon, thank you very much for joining in on tonight's stream. All right, and with that, we will